I've been working non-stop this past year to complete my next draft of The Fourth Wall. My previous draft had 3 main problems, and I hired my past self to tell us about them.
1. The beginning needs to deliver a huge punch. The hook needs to be tight and it needs to be as good as I can get it. 2. The main point of view story needs a revision focusing on description. The B plot is good, but the A plot is lacking. And 3, the most important is that Andre, my main point of view character, is unlikable and not sympathetic.
I researched, drafted and redrafted, and have crafted a perfect, flawless manuscript.
Yeah, right. I started with my biggest problem, making Andre sympathetic. I wasn't really sure how to tackle this issue, so I started researching what others have done before me. If you're interested in how to make your character sympathetic, I highly recommend checking out the video I made based on that research. Link in the description down below. From that research, I developed a plan. Number 1, create a good first impression based on one of Andre's core values, and then weave that value in and out of the story. Number 2, embed Andre deeper in the world building. Number 3, give the characters around Andre their own stories, their own lives. Side note, I got a suggestion from Me, My Skirt, and I to make Andre hot. That inspired me to do a brainstorm activity where I just dumped descriptions and images that I felt like vibed with Andre, and it helped me come up with a lot of fun things that I feel like helped elevate Andre as a character. With my plan in place, I got started. The way I write is with the end in mind, but if I don't have a solid foundation, I can't function. So I put a ton of effort into the first 2 chapters, making sure both my POV characters and both my A plot and B plot had very solid introductions. From there I push forward. The drafting process for me, especially in this draft, is a lot like a rising tide. I push forward, then I see something that's causing me issues, and I go back to resolve that problem. Surprisingly, despite the fact that most of my problems in the previous draft being in the A plot, I actually had to go back a lot to fix the B plot. As I was drafting, a couple of amazing things happened, including one of my favorite plot twists just appeared on its own out of nowhere. And maybe that's why it's my favorite plot twist, because it plot twisted me. I am insanely proud of what I've accomplished. My previous draft was already the cleanest, most elevated draft of anything I've ever written. And this one is so far beyond that, and it's so good. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I secretly think of it as stranger than fiction if Christopher Nolan had directed it. That feels really pretentious for some reason to me, maybe because I hold Christopher Nolan on like too high of a pedestal or something. I know I said it's flawless, but spoiler warning, it's not. After a couple read-throughs, there are several things that I'm a little nervous about. Due to my writing process, the third act has had the least amount of attention, and I'm worried that it's not as elevated as the rest of the novel, or that it lacks some pow. There's also a 3-chapter segment that will be the death of me. To me, it feels a little drawn out, a little slow, and I'm not sure what else to do about it, so I'm hoping that my critique partner, my beta readers, can help me work on that. Finally, in this draft, I was so much more vulnerable. I just let myself go all out, tell the story that was there, ready to come out of me. I obsess over how people see me. The possibility of disapproval stops me in my tracks so often. It keeps me from accomplishing things and doing things. So it's insanely nerve-wracking to me to think that something as intimate as a story from my heart and from my own head is going out into the world for people to rate and to judge me. And that reality is so much closer now. In writing this draft, I also had a wow experience. I almost don't believe what I've accomplished. Previous stories I've tried to write have never felt so satisfying, but for some reason, plotting really clicked this time. The Fourth Wall is coming together, and I am stoked and nervous to one day, hopefully soon, be able to share it with you. Along with this video, I posted on my website my previous introduction of Andre to my new introduction of Andre. Check out the link in the description below. Click subscribe so you don't miss when this book comes out.